The popular mythology of heavy metal begins with an amputation. In the mid-1960s, teenage guitarist Frank Anthony Iommi lost the tips of several fingers in an industrial accident. To compensate for this loss, he tuned his guitar lower, slackening the strings to make them easier to bend. Heavy metal was ostensibly born from this unholy union of dismembered fingertips and a sheet metal factory. Click here for a playlist of further listening selected by the author, including Girlschool, Sepultura and Gojira. The much exalted missing fingertips of Tony Iommi, who went on to become lead guitarist in Black Sabbath, highlight how heavy metal's foundational mythology is rooted in working-class masculinity. In 1991, D. E. Weinstein argued that the heavy metal genre was by definition white, young, working class, and male. Such characterizations have persisted, but heavy metal has actually diversified over time, even embracing left-wing and environmental politics with causes ranging from whale protection to labor conditions. Metal's evolution. The term heavy metal began to circulate in the late 1960s, denoting a musical style broadly characterized by highly amplified, distorted guitars, and emphatic drums and bass. Metal's aggressive vocal styles can range from the high-pitched vibrato of Judas Priest's Rob Halford, to the deep, guttural death growls of Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation. With the emergence of Black Sabbath, the first heavy metal band, the mythos of metal started to solidify. Black Sabbath's origins in the British industrial city of Birmingham were taken to be a core factor in their sound. Heavy, chugging riffs and thunderous drums echoed the bleak repetition of factory floors and deafening manufacturing conditions. Metal as the music of the white working class was a narrative that followed a swathe of English bands that formed the new wave of British heavy metal in the late 1970s, including Judas Priest, Iron Maiden and Motorhead, and affirmed metal's sense of self, even as the genre continued to expand. Metal and the market. While metal was at the center of several moral panics in the 1980s, and was chastised by claims of Satanism, sex and violence, tensions within the metal scene itself saw the development of various subgenres. The pop commerciality of glam and hair metal was countered by the fundamentalism of speed and thrash metal scenes spearheaded by bands such as Metallica and Slayer, who sought to make metal harder and faster. The desire in the late 1980s for even heavier, faster metal saw a push towards death metal, gridcore, and later black metal. The enormous success of Metallica's 1991 self-titled release cemented these subgenres, collectively referred to as extreme metal, as the last holdouts for metal's anti-commercial aspirations. Extreme metal can appear bizarre or terrifying to the unfamiliar. The series of murders and church arsons which implicated members of the Norwegian black metal scene in the early 1990s have overshadowed the music itself. There are now over 100,000 metal bands worldwide, playing more than 50 subgenres of metal.